Hey guys, Kendall back here with another video today, and I guess Super Kitty wanted to join me or something. But yeah, this is gonna be a little different video. Normally I do this with Bryce, but he's at work right now, so I figure I'll make one of these, and then maybe I'll bring Bryce in for a little bit later after work, because him and I both are closing tonight. But yeah, I'm gonna do my NFL predictions. But instead of I'm predicting all the games, I'm also talking about the recent events. So on Tuesday at 3 o'clock was the trade deadline, and we saw three, actually maybe four key players that moved teams. No, the first one was Dwayne Brown. He was traded from the Texans to the Seahawks, right? And if you notice, the Seahawks and Texans actually played last week, and the main thing for the Seahawks was their lack of offensive line, and they were struggling. But Russell Wilson, being such a good quarterback, he manages to find ways to beat it, right? So they traded for Dwayne Brown, who is one of the premier left tackles in the league, probably a top 3 or 4 guy, if you're thinking about Joe Thomas and maybe not Lane Johnson. Actually, yeah, it'd be Lane Johnson for the Eagles, but he's such a huge addition for the Seahawks because they've been struggling on the offensive line. Russell Wilson tends to have to run a lot, so this will be huge for them to like gain us a really good offensive lineman, and it'll probably make it where they can overtake the NFC. I don't think they'll win the NFC because of this next trade that I'm about to mention. Jay Ajayi, probably one of the best running backs in the league, was traded to the Eagles, who were 7-1, who were the top team in the NFL, for a 4th round pick. Now, a lot of reports come out saying the reason the Dolphins were so willing to trade him is because he's been dealing with injuries, and he's been trying to fight through them this season. So they felt they'd just trade him instead of trying to deal with his injuries. So they traded him to the Eagles, which is scary because the Eagles are 7-1 without an elite running back, and now adding an elite running back to them, they could easily win out and probably go 15-1. They are my early prediction to go to the Super Bowl for the NFC. I'm still saying it's going to be them and the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but that was one of probably the biggest trades. Another one was like a deadline trade. I think it was like right at 3 o'clock. It was announced. It was oh crap! Kelvin Benjamin to the Bills, and I believe it was for a 2nd and a 3rd round pick, but I might be wrong. Let me check up on this real quick. I have the NFL.com, like I have their website up. I'm trying to find it. But yeah, I do know he was traded to the Bills. Oh. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it rolling. I'm sorry, Super Kitty. I dropped it on you. No. Oh man, I kind of want to keep that in the video, but also I want to like cut it and just. No, I'm gonna keep it going. But yeah. Let me see. It was him. He was sent to the Bills. Of course, he was a receiver for the Panthers, and he was their top target this year. But I guess they felt they would move on from him, and which is pretty big because he was Cam Newton's #1 target, and Cam Newton, you could tell he was the only guy who Cam really could throw to. But I can't find the exact transaction, but I know he was sent to the Bills for some picks. Now the final one I want to talk about is it's the Jimmy Garoppolo to the 49ers trade. My take on this trade is I think it was a good trade for them to get their guy, but I think they should have let Beathard do his thing because he was playing well. I don't believe Beathard is better than Garoppolo in any way. I think Garoppolo was the guy for them, but I was reading something and saying, wow, this is being really weird with the lighting. All right, I'm just gonna try to fix this. I was reading something saying that their target for this offseason was Kirk Cousins, and that's going to be huge because now that the Niners have their guy, there's no need for Cousins to go there. And another team that he was possibly going to go to was the Rams before Jared Goff really took off on his with this second season. So Garoppolo, I think he's their guy. I think he's a solid quarterback. I don't think he'll be like a superstar. I think the 3 games we saw, the only reason he did so well is because he was under Belichick, and Belichick makes quarterbacks look good. Like Jacoby Brissett is proving he's a decent quarterback, but he learned all of this under Belichick. So I think that I think that he'll do well. He won't be what he won't be like what the Niners thought he'd be when they traded for him. I believe they gave up a second. I believe they gave up a second round pick for him. I can't exactly remember, but he's gonna be a big addition for them. Definitely means that he's their guy for long term. He hasn't signed an extension just yet. I think it depends on if they're even gonna play him. Like the 49ers coach, I can't think of his name now, but the 49ers coach did say they're taking it weekly. They're taking it like week to week. And so it all depends on like what they want to do with him, if they feel there's any need to have him play this season, or if they're just gonna like let him learn the playbook and then bring him in next season. The final thing I wanted to talk about is my prediction for the rest of the season. I'm gonna skip over the weekly stuff, but right now I'm looking at the standings, and I'm gonna go. Right now it's by league, but I'm gonna go by division. So for the conferences, right? Number one in the AFC right now, it's a 3-way tie between the Steelers, the Chiefs, and the Patriots. My personal thing, I think the Patriots are they're gonna take the AFC. I think they're gonna end up going 12-4. I think the Chiefs are gonna be second with 11-5, and then I think the Steelers will be third, also with 11-5. But I think the Chiefs will end up having a better conference record, which will make it where they overtake the Steelers. Not conference, I'm sorry, division record, where it makes them overtake the Steelers. For my opinion, for the NFC, I think the Eagles are going to win it. With them being 7-1, they're ahead of the second place Minnesota Vikings, who are 6-2, and the Saints, who are 5-2, are for third, also tied with the Rams, who are 5-2. I think it'll go Philadelphia. I think Seattle will end up being second. And then I think Minnesota. This hurts me to say because I'm a huge Packers fan, and I want to see them win the Super Bowl, of course. But I have to understand, without Rodgers, there's no chance. I do think the playoff teams will end up being Philly, Minnesota, Seattle, Los Angeles. I think for like the top seeds, like the two who get the bye week, will be Philly and Seattle. But I think your wild cards will be, as I said, Minnesota, Los Angeles, I think Carolina, and then I think Dallas will move their way into the wild card. So for the AFC, I think the Patriots, the Patriots and the Chiefs will get the two byes, and then the wild card will be the Steelers, probably the Bills. I'm actually predicting the Jags to win their division, so the Jags will be in that, and then I think Buffalo. No, I already said Buffalo. Just kidding. I think Tennessee could sneak their way in because they're looking really good this year. But my wild card to make it in, even though they're looking rough right now, I do think that Denver could sneak their way into the playoffs. And if not Denver, I'd give it to Houston. Because Houston has Deshaun Watson, who is obviously going to win Rookie of the Year. No doubt he's going to take it. But Denver, they just decided to start Brock Osweiler, who we all saw about 3 years ago, I believe it was, lead them to the playoffs, and also beat Tom Brady I think it was in New England in the regular season, ending their undefeated season. So I think Osweiler knows their system enough to where he could lead them to something, but I don't think he'll be the long-term guy. Either they're going to work with Trevor Siemian or Paxton Lynch, or they're going to draft somebody. But yeah, that's just my opinion for now. I will be bringing you guys another video next week. Actually, probably it'll be Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday because I have the trip on Tuesday. And then I'll bring you guys my reaction to all the games. I'll tell you guys what I'm thinking afterwards. But yeah, if you guys like this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Also, share this with your friends. This is this as you guys are obviously seeing this is on my second channel. But wow, this lighting is killing me. This is on my second channel. I will leave a link to the main channel, the Shodel Boys, in the description. And I'll see you guys next week.